If you're a fan of classic SNES-style JRPGs, then where gameplay and story blends into something magical, then Beloved Rapture might be exactly what you're looking for. Today, I want to actually dive into this indie homage to see if it lives up to the legacy of the games that defined an absolute generation of gamers. We'll explore the game's world, battle mechanics, and how its story captures the emotional depth that this genre is famous for. But here's the big question. Will it really hook those of us longing for that classic retro JRPG itch, or is it just another retro throwback? Therefore, stick around because by the end, you will know if Beloved Rapture deserves a place in your library or not, and it is sitting at a hot $20. What's up, Chaotic fam? It's your host, KICTV, and if you're new here, then this is your chill spot for all things RPGs, news, reviews, and as well as guides. And today, we're diving into the world, Beloved Rapture. Thanks to the indie dev team for giving me a key to play the early parts of the game, but that does not mean it will not influence the way I think or say on this indie game, because I do have some couple things I want to say regarding a particular moment in the very first chapter. But let's hop right into it. Alrighty, so we hop right into the opening scene. So there are a couple of things to know about this game. So it definitely allows two difficulty modes. You get the classic mode, which is the way the game should be played. And then you also get the story mode, which is kind of a more relaxed way of playing this game. But of course, you know, I want it hard. I want to play this the way that the game was intended to play, classic mode. Now, yes, I already did play a little bit of this game prior before making this recording, so I just want to go over some of the things you'll know. So you do get the option to either play the prologue or you could skip the prologue. Now, knowing this, the prologue does have a quite tend of like a little bit of explanation of the overall game, but I want to actually skip the prologue. I want to hop right into the first chapter, and what I want to do is I can actually just give you a nice broad explanation of what exactly happened, because theoretically, after me playing a little bit of this game already, it feels like that prologue won't make sense till like chapters later into this game. So there are 7 full chapters of this game. Currently, I am playing the review code that the team over at Beloved Rapture gave me. So I think I only get mainly the tutorial and the first overall 3 chapters. So first, starting off, which you get the overall visuals of this game, and so far I love it. It's a classic retro style 16-bit game, and not to mention the soundtrack just really just takes you back to like when I was a kid playing this, and overall I really do love it. So we get our 2 main characters here. We get Johan, which is the main character you'll be playing as, and we also get Zach, another very interesting character as we find out later on. These 2 are best friends. And it's now reaching Johan's birthday, so to speak. He's turning 18, and man, this man's 18th birthday is not exactly as you would think it to be, but the game does look great. Colors are super vibrant. The PNG characters that you see on the side, like the way they are detailed during these conversations, looks overall good. To like, they each have personality through what they're wearing. Even in games, even the in-game sprites, as you can see, it just looks too good. Like they're very HD versions of retro games. So yes, there are no voice acting. It is definitely taking a page strictly really out of the olden days, but it makes sense. This is an indie dev team. They probably did not have the money to afford voice acting. I know a lot of my audience out there, they prefer voice acting. Sometimes I do too, but if the writing is good, then I can go about it with just reading it and really get the feel of like how the characters are displaying their emotions. You also do get different dialogue options that you can say yes or no to certain things. Now, will it affect your gameplay? I haven't seen anything too different really expecting it. It may affect the ending or anything like that, or it just honestly gives the players more of a way to be able to say their own piece to the given scenario. So right now I'm kind of like jumping through the tutorial since I've already spent a couple hours already playing through this. I'm just redoing it so I can actually just get to actually showing you guys the overall gameplay and story. So I am now playing this on my controller. So this game is mostly played through your controller. or you can play it on your keyboard and mouse. But overall, the game looks good. So we finally take control of Johan. So yeah, we finally take control of Johan, and we actually begin the overall game. This is our actual time, like we can actually move around. The controls are basically using tank controls essentially, so your left goes left, your right goes right, up, down. That's it. There's no moving omnidirectional type stuff like you go one way or the other. Very simple. So you come across these shiny glimmery things right here. This is basically the tutorial of the game. The game does a great job of really trying to teach you the tutorial, and we finally get to the map. The map is massive, but it can get a bit confusing. Your job is mainly to follow the red arrow that's pointing to it is where you want to do what you want to go to. But we actually get to the very first area that we get to is the Veretta Highlands, where we actually spend time getting hang of the controls. We're looking for Johan's friend Zach, and we finally meet up with him, and he's going to mention that we have a trial to do. So we also come across this game's currency, which are just golden coins you just find throughout. Go over it, you click it up. You also come across your statue of healing, so to speak. You can only do this one time, so you really want to say this is if you got into a very difficult battle. You come over here, you learn that you can also move items as well. You can just move it forward out of the way, but this just tells you that you can pick up many things in the lands. And it's like the game does a great job at trying to teach you the game. And it also bodes exploration, because that's another thing. Exploration is key when it comes to these games. Now, my favorite part, you get to swim. And it's very simple. You can also dive when you reach a specific area. I click A, your character dives in. This helps promote exploration in these games. And you will really want to, because a lot of this stuff can be used in battles. A lot of the stuff can be sold as well to vendors. And you will want to do your overall best to try to explore as much as you can, because sometimes you won't be able to go back to certain areas. So if you want to set yourself up for greatness, you can be able to do that as well. So we're just going to hop on over, and we're going to hop right into the cave. And of course, what you'll want is pick up anything you come across. Come across chests, mushrooms, that's all needed. And each area just is well detailed. Like, I really love the way the visuals look in this game. And the soundtrack is fire, bro. So I didn't know you could do this in the first time around I was playing it, but you can come to this wishing well. I sent out 20 gold, and it basically increased my maximum MP by 1 point. So pretty great. I don't want to like over spam that. Loading times are also definitely quick when you're going in and out of houses. And it just definitely just feels like that, you know, the old days, like Pokemon, just walking around like Chrono Trigger. Like, it really scratches the itch across the board. You can also jump off cliffs. Like, this main area that you're in just is the biggest tutorial to teach you how to play the game, how the game should be ran, all that good stuff. Now, there are a couple of things that you would note, and this is more on the technical side. There are a lot of collisions that you will come across when you're walking around that you cannot walk past. Like this little piece of grass, I can't move forward. It just blocks me. This little shrub can't move forward, so I have to move around. But we're going to continue going up because we're still needing to look for Johan. Told us to follow him. Now, one thing story-wise, when you're really watching this, is that you can tell that Zach is off. Something's weird about him. He is really trying to... It's like a weird Big Brother vibe. And it's like, just by listening to how he's speaking to Zach, it really shows a lot of what is going on behind the scenes, right? And I'm only speaking this because I know what happens later on, but you can just tell that something was off about Zach. So right now, he is telling us that we must take a trial. Seems like a trial that every young male adult or anybody really takes place at the age of 18. And at this point, we understand that Johan is turning 18 and he's going to gift us a specific item. And you can also tell that Zach is really trying to get Johan out you could tell that Johan's really Zack's trying to get Johan out of the village, and he's trying to have him leave with him because Zack is planning on leaving the village as well. And he gives us a weapon called Amaterasu. Now, yes, this weapon is of course named after the sun god. And now we're gonna set ourselves up for the combat portion of the demo, or combat portion of the tutorial, which is mainly helping utilize the weapon, because there's something quite magical about this weapon. And he tells us to meet him at the Illusia Grove, which that was the area that I just walked past in the last given area. So a little bit of backtracking, nothing's too crazy. There is auto saving, of course. Now at this point you could take some time to further explore the game, just kind of just gain some more items, because exploration definitely plays key into this game, so you don't want to actually miss out on your time of exploration bits. Gaining more gold, because that is your main currency, and you can just find them around. And as you can see that there's a chest that's at the bottom, so I can only go from it through the other entrance, which it seems like I would actually need to swim my way over there. And there is a cave right here at the bottom. So this is like you're rewarding the players with exploration, right? It's like that. It's like the setup, and then there's the payoff, right? They set it up by just showing like, oh, okay, and then with a little bit of exploration, you get rewarded. So a lot of this stuff you'll want to just keep in mind when you're overall just playing this game. But now we want to actually just head right on over to the Illusia Grove. And once we make it there, we get to the point of the actual battle tutorial of this game. And this is where Zack tells us to teaches us how to actually play this game. But at this point, you're really trying to understand like the dynamic between Zack and as well as Johan. And honestly, he's like, it just gives off that Zack is this mysterious character, really. Like, he's this mysterious bunch, and now he's explaining that Amaterasu is a magical blade, and he's explaining to his best friend who doesn't believe in magic, because mainly in his case and Johan's case, he lived in a village where magic is not a thing, right? So a lot of this is like very jarring to Johan, and he doesn't even believe it himself. Like, a lot of the things he's just like, wow, I can't believe that. And he's even looking at Zack like, yo, what do you talk about? This sword has magic? Like, that doesn't exist. But it shows the fact of like that Zack is more of the open-mindedness, where Johan is more of a closed-mindedness, right? And he even goes to the fact of saying Johan is along the lines of just green. Like, he's not a fighter. He seems like he's more of a lover than a fighter, but he has to get prepared for the trials. So I do get an option to say like, let's go, or I don't need warm-ups. Basically, this way the game's saying, do you need the tutorial or no? I don't need the tutorial, but I just want to show you guys the overall combat. But I'm gonna just say I don't need warm-ups, just because I already been through this. When we actually get to the true combat tutorial, I would actually... So another cool thing when it comes to the combat, and I'm actually glad they're actually saying it right now, any weapons that contains magic, or ethro to be exact, every time you attack, you get more mana, but every time you defend, you get more health back. But the problem is you can only get health back only once until you do another action. So you can't just spam it. But Amaterasu utilizes lightning magic, but can absorb other elements and properties. So definitely something you will definitely learn. Move this out the way. Oh, tank controls. Find antidote. Like I said, the game pays you for exploration. Like, that's one thing I can say that I like about this game. And it really pays people for that exploration. And at this point, we introduce character number 3. Intriguing character number 3. So you notice that there's a guy right here that is actually... He's going to continue following both of us throughout here. And it's kind of I'm going to just wait till the, the shocker hits the fans for sure. So... a little bit of the combat encounters. So this game does not have combat random encounters. You can actually choose to fight if you like, And if you will notice that you get an ATB gauge, essentially that's what or the AT gauge that you would see in like Final Fantasy and other games. And you also get a command menu. Now the battles can go by faster, so if you want the the devs can give you an option to use active time or wait time. So if you notice, I am currently in active time, so that means that both enemies are now acting upon if their gauge fills up or not. And I get Relica. Now Relica is essentially you just basically gain energy, which is if you allows you to do a move called the Relica, which is basically your ult, right? It's like your limit break that you would notice in Final Fantasy games. But there's no random counter, so the game actually really helps out a lot when it comes to like not wasting your time. But that's one thing I can say I like about this game is that there's no random counter, so you can choose if you want to grind out and all that good stuff. But these guys, their ATB gauge fills up so fast, dude. Jesus Christ, like they get like multiple attacks in before you get. And this is where it's like, if you want, it would just always be better if you want to just put it on wait mode, because it would just make life a lot easier for everybody. And this right here, I'm gonna actually put it back on wait mode, just because it just makes life a lot easier. Like, I feel like it can definitely be fixed. I want to find them. It could definitely be fixed. Like, it's not good. Like, there's other games that are better. Like, that's my only, like, one of my critiques about this game is that if you're gonna do the active time, at least make it better. Especially like when you're level 1, essentially. This is your first time playing the game, and it could be definitely jarring for a lot of people who are new to something like that ATB gauge or the active weight gauge, and they're just getting attacked left and right, left and right. And this is how the game is like when the ATB gauge is off, and you can actually just play the game as a normal turn-based game. So now I've been poisoned, but we're not gonna stand for that. I'm gonna just sit in a spell. Now, of course, every attack you do uses up your gauge until it fills back up again. And the same goes for the other enemy. They also have a gauge as well. Now, the only thing I can say, like, lore-wise, when it comes to actually the fights in this game, especially this early on, is that our character Johan is inexperienced with weapons, right? He's very inexperienced as a fighter. So it's like when you're dealing like normal attack damage, it doesn't do a lot of damage, right? And I feel like that may be a bug related thing, but he does 40 damage and he has a chance of missing. And now this is going to cause me to lose. But I'm just going to use my Ascendant. I'm going to just scrap it. Hopefully this deals. But when you do the Relica, it actually deals crazy damage. It does more damage than your base attack. So it's like, when I was originally playing it, like throughout my own way for it, it just kind of made this seem like, I feel like the game definitely does need some form of fixing up when it comes to overall things you can do. Especially at this point where the enemy is doing more damage, and I feel like the mana skills as well for your attacks should definitely be lowered, because it actually uses up about a quarter of your mana that you get starting out. Like, we haven't reached a mana, we haven't reached a stat increase or anything of that sort when it comes to playing this game. And I was experiencing that a lot. And it has a weird rate of like, oh, I'm going to do a stupid amount of damage, or I'm going to do 20 damage. Like, it's definitely a flip of a coin. And it definitely has a lot of chance of missing, which can get quite annoying. Especially this early on. This is the game's way of like, this is the battle tutorial. This given area that we're in, we get to explore. Like I said, there's no random encounter. So it's not like you're forced grinding. And every 2 seconds you're getting stopped by something that's gonna stop you from actually playing, stop you from actually having a seamless play with this game. And it's just like, it's okay. Like, it can definitely be better. It can definitely be better. Like, Des, if you're watching this video, that would be my just gripe. Like, I've already played enough times getting to practically the end of chapter 1 and getting overall stuck. So I'm just now doing a new save and just showcasing just like what people can expect when playing this game. So now we finally get our level up screen. And now what I want to do, now you can level up all of the stats that he will have. You can do his max HP, max mana, his attack, defense. You can do his magic and as well as speed. So I'm just going to level up his max HP. Just so he can, you know, take a little bit more damage so far. So now we finally meet up with Zach. And now he actually wants to test us to see how good we are with the sword. So a lot of this seems definitely like highly planned by Zach story-wise, right? He's like, I want you to get strong. Now, it's just weird that like he's acting. And like I said, there's a lot of things where I'm just like, he's acting definitely weird. But now we have to fight Zach. We've had many combat encounters so far, and now it's time to actually showcase what we can do. And I'm going to smack his ass with the bolt. The bolt does have a chance to actually shock people and keep them stunned, and it sets me up for my free attack. But Zach, he hits hard. But I'm going to show him that I hit harder. And then we're going to go for the Ascended Slash. Yeah, dog. I'm on your head. He used the potion. Wait a minute. What? Oh, no. I'm going to defend. Defend. Get my health back. Attack. See, now this fight would be horrible when it came to, like, if the active time was still on. Because, bruh, this man hit way too hard and fast. Like, his ATB gauge seemed like it never went down. And I'm going to just get 2 free hits in. Use his Tri-Slash. Oh, that took half my health. Holy shit. Oh, no. Oh, no. You know what? Elixir it. I'm going to elixir it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take it again. I'm going to show Zach that I'm better than him. Again. Yep. Give me my Relica. Now you're going to have to eat this one, my boy. You're going to have to eat this one, my boy. Go ahead to eat this one. Because I'm better than you. Let's go. Why I'm so happy? Because I lost the last time I played against him. And I want all of it. Get me to level 10. You can kind of already, at this point, we now finally understand why Zach was acting weird. He wants to leave the village. He wants to have a better life that is not tied to the village. And it shows like this story is more of a coming of age story, really, for the both of them. They're both best friends, and one wants to venture on to do a better life, while the other one is like, but what do you mean better life? I want to stay with my family. And he actually wants to go to a guild that's out in a city called Alexandria and take Johan with them. And due to how Zach acts with a lot of things, it just shows that he feels like he's done enough in his time in this village, and he feels like Johan has more to life other than just being a village guy, especially for how good he is with the sword. And this is where like Johan is stuck in a place where like I don't think I want to leave, and Zach is just confused. But it's just the way Zach acts towards this entire encounter that makes this it makes it very confusing, right? It makes it very confusing. Like, why are you so pressed that your friend does not want to overall come with you to this whatever plan you have and like leave everything behind? Like, it sounds fun and exciting in the moment, but why? And now we meet Amelia, which is now Johan's mother. And she basically begins to scold us for, you know, not coming back home in time. She does not like when Johan moves, like leaves the village and go to like far off areas because she finds them dangerous. She's a very overprotective mom. That's the story that is just trying to be told. And you can just tell in the way that the way she speaks to him, and like she's always scolding him. And he makes it known like, Mom, I'm becoming an adult now. And you can just see that she cares a lot for Johan. She does not want him to get hurt, and it's just like she's hiding something, right? And she gives you 200 gold, birthday gift, you know? And now she wants us to go find some items for her to help with this. Now there are side quests as well. You will notice it when a character has the little chat bubble pop their head. And once we make it back after trying to get the grocery list for our mom, Zach wants to force us to do one last training session with him before the trials takes place on Johan's birthday. And this is another given point in the story where you can just tell that the dynamic between the two, like Zach doesn't care. He just takes no for an, he does not take no for an answer. He's, you know, very forceful, you know, but it's just like, for people who are best friends and the way like sometimes they interact with each other, it's definitely weird. Is like, what's really going on? And Johan makes mention of like, dude, my mom, I need to get back home. And it's just like, why is Zach so adamant on Johan getting stronger? Like, why? And then we finally gain Zach as a party member, and we can now get the taste of what it's like to have multiple people in a given party. So this is the part of the training part right here. So we can go to the combat tutorial utilizing more than one carrot. Oh, we come across the first mimic. Oof. He's dealing stupid damage to me right now. Jesus. But we're going to use the boat. The boat's pretty great. I like really using it for the shocking aspect of that. So each spell personally utilizes different status ailments that can actually cause for the people. So like if you cast Bolt with Johan here, he can actually shock the enemy. They're pretty much would be frozen for a given turn. If you cast Frost, I feel like I've been using Frost a lot lately, and Frost don't really deal not much. It doesn't freeze people enough, but I feel like every time the enemy does it to me, it works instantly, and it fucking sucks. I honestly hate it a lot. It is stupid. So like playing this game a lot, like I feel like this game definitely does need a little bit of changes when it comes to a lot of things. Now this is version 1.1.4, so it's definitely received a lot of bug fixes, so to speak, but it's just like there's a couple of things that I feel like that definitely needs to be worked on. Like, it's not the worst case scenario, but it's definitely something that could be worked on. I might need to... Ooh, where's my mana? I need more mana for sure. Oh, I need more mana potions. Jesus Christ. It's about to be a long night, boys. And there's also, I would like... And hopefully if the devs are watching this video, one thing I wanted to make known is like... I swear I miss all the time. Like, I need to know, like, there's no true stat that can actually fix the... If your character's accuracy, there's no accuracy stat. So it's just like, a lot of the basic attacks, it does not matter. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier in the video, where like your base attacks deal such little damage, but as soon as you do your limit break, the limit break actually just... It just works flawlessly. It deals stupid damage. You're good to, ooh, gain 1,000 gold for killing this mimic. Hell yeah. Now, if you guys may have noticed, I have now put a lot of HP into my... If you guys have noticed, I've put a lot of HP in when I'm doing my stats, because there's a given boss that hopefully I can get to during this playthrough that you guys would know that he has become the bane of my existence, to the point where I actually am now restarting this playthrough to be able to fully combat against this, because this is one thing, that's another gripe that I do have with this game. And my biggest gripe towards this game is literally the fact that there's so much inconsistencies when it comes to playing this game. So now we actually, before I finish this tangent with what's next, we get to the fishing part. So you can fish in a game. Each fish gives you some form of things to utilize, like different food. You can use it to heal. You know, you get different benefits from it. But I'm gonna go back to that gripe. This gripe, Jesus, I hate a lot of the inconsistencies in this game. It makes no sense when it comes to the combat side of things, and the way like there's not much you can do when it comes to like skipping. I wish there was a way that you could skip cutscenes. That's another thing that I would like, because when you die, repeating the same cutscene, at least give the option. Like, I know it's an indie game. I understand it's it's a very small team. I think a team of like 5 people, I think, and I understand, I get it, but it's just like, bro, please give me a skip the cutscene, because like when you're repeating the same boss fight and that boss fight has a cutscene that leads into it, I would just like to skip it, go straight to the boss fight. It makes I don't even know if replayability would be the proper term. So now I want to show you guys fishing. Fishing's pretty cool. So you get yourself a fishing pole and as well as some bait. And it works very simple. You get your bait, you throw it out, and you can cast it into 3 different directions. And I would select cast it, and from there you can choose how far of a cast you want to do. And there's fish throughout the entire pond, so you probably want to like play around in this given area so you can get all the fish you need. So I'm gonna just throw mid, and I wait. We basically just wait till, you know, some of the fish picks up the bobber. And it's a very simple fishing game. They go into it, and then you just tap the up button to really get the tension. And it's mainly a tap, not a hold, just a good tap, and the pool will come closer to you, and then you gain the fish. And each fish has a specific rating to it, so you get up to 5, which would just show the quality of said fish. So now I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go pretty far, hopefully, to get some of those, like those bigger guys, which I see that there's a green guy. Yep, come back over here, buddy. Come back over here. You know you want it. He went right past it. See, that's why I hate fishing. And you're gonna give me the crap fish, of course, but pushing far away, you got a long range to pull, so you can see that you have a meters in front of you to show how many meters it will take before you get to before you gain it. And of course I pulled the one fish I didn't want to pull. I swear. Cast again. I'm gonna go mid. Hopefully this, yep, give me that, the black one, give me that one. I want him. Grab it. Oh Jesus. So the fishing's very simple, and that's honestly a good thing. There's a lot of games where fishing becomes like super convoluted and you really don't. So at this given point in the game, with Johan and Zach, we come across the game's way of their first dungeon, so to speak. This dungeon has practically everything that makes a dungeon, you know, definitely playing into, you know, most RPGs. And of course, we get the stranger that is looking at us, who's been following us throughout their entire journey. Very mysterious, but this basically shows players what they're going to get themselves into when it comes to the dungeons for the rest of the game. You're going to have your exploration bits. You're going to have your puzzle solving. There's going to be monsters, of course. And the puzzle solving is actually fairly simple. It's not super convoluted. It doesn't take, you know, a 5,000 IQ just to complete these puzzles. Now, they might get, you know, crazier as the game goes on, but in this very first initial bit, it's very simple. Just basically just levers sitting on the pressure plates. And that's one thing I love about this game. Like it has the little bit of everything. It's not just, yeah, it has a little bit of everything. It's very simple, nothing too crazy. Like if it really scratches the itch of like older style games. Like if you're used to SNES, like SNES style games, any JRPGs back in the day, like your original Final Fantasies that were playing like this would be right up a lot of people's alleys. And it's a short game. I think, like I said earlier, 7 chapters. I think you can complete it in about closer to 15 to 20 hours when I was reading. And even though you are in a dungeon too, another thing, the game does not waste players' times. That's one thing I love about this game. Like a lot of games have started doing this too, but the no random encounters plays a huge part into just like not wasting players' times, like not forcing a play time. Like, oh, you got to definitely grind out, like force grinding and just trying to, you know, get play times, the people's play times up. And it's just like, nah, man. Good story, good gameplay. And if I want to grind, I get the option to do so. And it's not like forcing me to. So once you get past the overall dungeon, we come across our very first actual boss of the tutorial, which is this dragon. And dog, when I first played against him the very first time, the dragon was crazy difficult. essentially this boss fight is basically a DPS check overall for your crew. He did focus a lot on Johan, who, and this at the given point when I was playing with him, had I think 100 hit points less than what I currently have right now, and Zach has close to 1,000. But I will say though, his boss fight theme song goes crazy. But yeah, this is just a big DPS check. You're not actually gonna beat him. I probably should have. I'm gonna probably pop an ether for Johan. He still does half my health. Jesus Christ, dog. There's no way. Hopefully Bolt shocks him. But he basically has a couple of different attacks. He casts Fire Breath, which is basically a DOT, a dot damage on him. But I promise you, I barely left this fight alive fighting him the original time. Like, Johan died and Zach had 1 HP left. Like, I barely survived this. Like, he's dealing crazy damage. But I want to just see if I actually get a much better try this time around. If not, then this fight is just absolutely difficult. Holy, see, this is what I mean. I'm about to lose right now. Like, he deals crazy damage. And here's the Fire Breath. Oh, Jesus. Come on, Ascendant Slash, work, please. You saved me every other time. Don't do this to me. Okay, he is. Okay. It's still Chakra. I'm gonna do it on Johan. Get him free of that. Oh, please. And then I'm gonna do it on myself. I need to heal. Heal, 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 heal. High potion. Like I said, he has the most health out of the both of us. I need him up as much as possible. Okay, there we go. Whew. Did enough damage, so he leaves. But after this point, when you actually end up fighting like a special being, so to speak, because of the sword that Johan has, which is the Amaterasu blade, you actually gain the spell or ability of the thing that you fought. So right now we're gonna end up fighting, we're gonna end up gaining the flame ability, which is one of the attacks of the dragon. So it's actually pretty cool. Like, all of the lore of this game is coming around, and now as a character for Johan, seeing a dragon existence is already like shattering his way of thinking when it comes to the world, as Zach is trying to tell him that the world is more filled with more fantasy than he would believe. So it goes back to that contrast that I was talking about earlier, when between the two of these best friends, and it's very showing very early on in the beginning, and just showing that Zach wants to show him the rest of the world so that they're not stuck at the village that they grew up in. Of course, Zach being the more experienced out of the two, it really shows. So in my opinion, I really do like the writing in this game. And this is just the first, almost 2 hours of playing this game. And I knew I was sucked into it when you get to the very end of the chapter. We're gonna get to that quite soon. And one of the magical things that he also wanted to show him was this big mystical tree. And it seems like this tree has some form of significance. It doesn't really explain it now, but it just shows that this tree the seed was planted like eons ago, and it's been living ever since. And you can feel the magic in the air. And as a character for Johan, who, as we already established, is not the most aware of the magic that is in his world, it really is an eye-opener to him, with Zach showing more of a white lie that this is something like, this never happened, even though it really has. So this tree definitely holds some form of significance, just later on, just kind of foreshadowy. I don't know because I haven't got that far, but just overall just taking into effect. And now, thanks to us getting the flame ability, we can actually use the burn spell on our enemies now, because of course all enemies have a specific affinity to different elemental attacks. So that's where your strategy comes into play and be like, okay, flame works on this guy, lightning works on this guy, and I'm actually going to show you guys what that looks like. So if you hop into the pause menu, and one thing I like about this pause menu really hits it home for some of that old retro 80s 90s games aesthetics. But if you hop over to your guide, you can actually get a bestiary, which you can look at lesser, unique, and greater foes, and show like what is their overall resistance to different elements, and you can plan your strategy around them, and you can see how much health they have left, what's their attack looking like. You can see your map and your quests. Now at this given point, I actually said yes, because after everything that was said, I feel like that is a character developmental move that Johan would actually make. Like, after going through all of this entire journey with him and understanding like there's more to the world that meets the eye, I feel like this is a proper opportunity. It's just like, you know what, I should actually try to leave this village, see what the rest of the world has to look like. And of course the rest of the town, like, it's his birthday's coming up. But there are two specific figures that you'll notice in this given scene that are in the background. And one of the given figures is the individual that's been following us but I'll say something strong for the lot liquor that Zach wants to hand us. And you can see that Zach is talking to a specific person, saying that he needs more time, kind of hinting that like there was a reason of the rush for Johan, but we still don't know that yet. And this goes back to the writing. I like how the game has really been just small like breadcrumbs, and you finally get the payoff of like, holy shit. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So far, we're gonna have a drink with our best friend because once it's my 18th birthday, I'm understanding that there's more to the world than you would think, and it's just, oh, we get Drago. He now finally showcases himself. But Johan, do my eyes deceive me? Is it really you? And we see him with Amelia, and we get the biggest plot twist. Well, not the biggest plot twist, I wouldn't say that now, but it was definitely like, holy shit. I had a feeling, because he does look like him. But we find out that Drago is the dad to Johan. Amelia is his mother, and we have been gone for quite some time. But yeah, we finally found out that that shady person who's been following us this entire time is our father. At this point, Johan does not know what to really think of this situation. Like, he just found out that the man that's been missing out of his entire life has been gone. Basically, our boy Johan, glorified, has daddy issues. Has daddy issues, and it really shows. Like, mom hid this secret from him a long time. And at this point, we're gonna actually see a flashback where we actually see what exactly happened to allow this, I wouldn't even say divorce, just like she took her son and just ran away because the dad of her husband got into some real shady stuff. And Johan has every right to be upset. Like, I would be upset knowing like my mother has been lying to me about my father missing for so long. And now we get the actual backstory, the flashback. And this is the scene where our man here, Drago, just returned from a mission in Alexandria, but you can tell that there was something definitely off with him. And we find out that he accepted some form of power from these aeons, or eons, so to speak, these mystical beings, and overall changed him to become the not so loving father. And we see a younger Amelia, and he's been gone for so long that she don't she barely recognized him. And then Amelia just gives us her reasoning behind why she hid the knowledge away from Johan. She thought it was the best thing she could do for her only child, and just confirms it that yes, he is your father. And Johan finally musters up the courage to actually tell his mother that Zach's leaving the village and he wants to as well, but he doesn't know how to exactly feel about that. And she says, yeah, that's his best friend. He wants to follow in his best friend's footsteps, or at least close enough to it. But man, the foreshadowing for what she just said, we may not be safe here anymore, is the now replaying it over again. It's like you can see some of the given points that were being made, and it's just like, dude. Oh no. And we run into another scene where Zach is just being weird and fishy, and he's just feeling like you could tell he's gotten himself into something nasty. And then at this point we learn about the Rapture, which is another big thing that we don't know yet exactly fully at what it is. And he tells us that there's been a change in plans, and now the crew has now went to the village. And oh my god, this is when this game takes a dark turn immediately. The graphics and visuals just immediately turn super red. The entire town is now on fire and everyone is dead. It went from oh, this is a nice beautiful game to holy shit, what just happened? What the actual fuck? The village is attacked and blood everywhere. Everyone's been literally absolutely massacred. Keep in mind, this is, if I'm not mistaken, a day prior to his 18th birthday, where this village had so much planned for him right from the jump, bro. And it's just and then he finally clicks in his mother. And this all happened recently, because by the time we actually make it, guess who appears right at her front door? The dad, Drago. So whatever people that Zach got involved with, they did not care. It's so sad. At this point, this story gripped me up by the chest, because I started growing a form of attachment to the villagers and stuff like that. And it just took a dark turn. And I love that about games. It doesn't always have to be peaches and rainbows across the entire board. And it's just sad at this point, dude. It's just super sad. And now at this point, we have now reached the saddest thing you're about to witness. Absolute saddest thing you're about to witness in this entire game. You finally make it in. Keep in mind, Drago was with Amelia, and she's murdered. And he did this to try to get a rise out of Johan. And it's just oh my god. This man single-handedly has plotted the entire murder. And at this point, it spun some form of anger in me, because I was like, bro, Zach literally betrayed the entire village. And you can tell when Zach speaks, bro, the villagers were not part of the deal. Killing them was not part of the deal. But of course, Dill's always turning it. They said the Rapture awaits, and Zach immediately destroyed. Remember, he's the same one that clutched us out throughout all of our fights, the dragon fights and other fights, saving Johan. Remember, he's the more experienced fighter, and now it's up to Johan, who's about to now enter the scene. And oh my god, it's sad. I felt for Johan throughout my entire time playing this tutorial. And that's why I feel a lot of people will actually like this game. It's a good itch. It fits a good itch. And it makes it more modern too, feels when it comes to the writing, because they do swear a lot, these fuckers and all that stuff. It makes it a little bit more modern. But now we gotta fight Dad. Hey, keep in mind, remember that dragon we fought earlier, or a wyvern? He's back, and now it's Drago on top of the wyvern. Then we're gonna bolt, because bolt works, shocks him. Keep in mind, this dragon is stupidly, crazily difficult. Crazily difficult. He does fire breath. And he already did half my health. Oh, my lord. Oh, my lord. Oh. So just keep in mind, the difficulty of this boss fight is dumb hard. Most of these boss fights with the Wyvern, it's like he deals 2 hits to me. And I'm basically dead. And at this point with all my fights, I did not get blessed with a lot of leveling up. And even though I did, like, I did this fight at level 9. Keep in mind, I'm at level 13 now because I just redid it with you guys, right? And my biggest complaint about this game is just how much damage all enemies do to you. Like, fighting the boss at level 9, they did crazy damage. And now I'm at level 13 thinking that I'm going to have some form of, you know, difference with the leveling up and all that good stuff. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. I just feel like even though they don't force the grinding, the XP you also get at the very early stages, like if you pay attention, a lot of the XP you get is like 18, 10 XP, stuff like that. For some of these fights where, like, I just feel like the combat, the damage and all that needs to be balanced. Or something of that nature. There's no way it should be like this boss fight is the final boss fight of chapter 1. And this is where I'm stuck at. Like, I know a lot of other people beat the game, but I'm like, dude, how? Like, I get it. There is a strategy to this boss fight. I did look it up. There's a guide because I feel like I was just going crazy. So I'm gonna be honest. I looked up a little strategy guide. And you're not technically meant to win this fight. It's just deal enough damage so he can leave. So it's kind of like a repeat of the original dragon fight. But the problem is I no longer have theoretically my tank at the time. I no longer have Zack. It's just Johan. And of course, Johan always starts way weaker when you start the game. Because again, he's not a fighter. He's not like Zack. 1,000 hit points. And this time around, I instead of spreading my allocated, like, all of my points that I gained through my bonus points and all that throughout all of my stuff, like my attack, my defense, my speed, my magic, my health, this time I pumped it all into health just so I can gain more health just for this exact moment. And I feel like as a player I'm doing so much for the very first boss of the game, or final boss of the first chapter, so to speak. Like, there's needs to be some form of rework, and you guys are noticing it. Like, I'm at 594. I'm gonna cast Bolt, freeze him in, and the only time you can deal with some damage is either with your Relica or your spells. Oh my god, I won. The enemy has fled. See, look, I gained 20 experience points for fighting a boss this difficult. That needs to be changed. Like, or if this game has a weird way of doing a leveling system, I don't know, but yeah, everybody got clapped and he just passes out from exhaustion. Hopefully Zack's alive. At this point, I don't know. Because they did just knock him out. I don't know if that was like a killing blow or a just knock him unconscious blow. But now we're in chapter 2. So that was my overall impressions. And just sitting down talking with you guys, like understanding how this game is. And I believe this is Aiden. Which now Aiden was in the prologue, which I didn't show. Just want to save that for you guys if you guys actually hop on this game. Like I said, it's $20 if you want to hop on it. I also want to thank the developers for overall allowing me to play this game. Thank you. Like I said, did not, for anybody to think so, I did not. They did not has any say so in my words I said in this game. None of that nature. This is actually pretty nice. It's a good itch. It's not like a super crazy like AAA game of the year. Like, no, it's not. But for what it is, it understands its place. It does have LGBTQ themes. I don't know where that be at. It's not really like down your throat with all of it. It's like I haven't really seen anything that was relating to that. But overall, just as a JRPG, like callback to those days, it's definitely great seeing what this game has to offer. So let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. I really want to hear your guys' thoughts about it, so definitely let me know. It was a fun just sitting here talking to you guys and just playing it with you live. That's actually pretty great too. But shoot it down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed today's video episode, leave a like, subscribe to the channel as well, and as always, stay safe out there. And it's been your host, KSDTV, here at Chaotic Inc., signing out. Peace.